Was Brandon Miller the right move for the Hornets at number 2?
Yes. The reason is he's 6'9", so he can play the 2 and the 3. He's like a Paul. He's actually, his game is Paul George's game, right? He's a very, very high level scorer. Scores very easy. So if you're gonna, if you had to pick the 2, Scoot seems more NBA ready since he's been in the system. But when you're talking about, like, I already have LaMelo, do I need a 6'4" guard and that's all he can play is shooting guard? I'd rather take the 6'9" shooting guard or 3 guard or the small forward. I can shift the same guy and put him at the 2 and 3, right? So, when you're talking about just upside, I'll take the bigger of the 2.
So Rashad, I see you over there shaking your head with that pick. You're not rolling with Brandon Miller to the Hornets?
I love Brandon out to the Hornets, though. I like Scoot to the Hornets, Brandon to Portland, because Brandon is who Dame needed to stay. He needed a 3. He needed a 3 that can play 2, that can score high level, take pressure off Anthony Simons, take pressure off Nurkic. We got another high level scorer that can complement Dame. And even with Charlotte, you look at LaMelo, you look at Rozier, you look at Washington. Like, they have players that were already showing good talent. If you bring Scoot in there, you're talking about athleticism, competitiveness, fire, and it's a fast-paced game now. Now we're talking about getting a big in there that can block shots and get us on the races. So I think that trade should have changed the trajectory of keeping Dame in Portland, having them become, not necessarily a competitor in the West, but just giving them hope that they can pick up some more pieces if they make some trades. But we'll see. I don't know what Brandon looks like in Charlotte. Winning
with LaMelo Ball,
losing. I don't see him doing anything different than they've been doing.
Wait. So you're saying Charlotte should have took Scoot at number 2?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Scoot is a faster, more competitive. It just fits what they're doing already. It's playing fast. And even though Brandon is a high level scorer, and they do need some scoring, they do have pieces that score. It's like a PJ. They're gonna get rid of Miles Bridges. But also Terry Rozier, Washington, all those guys, they can play. It's just, I think Scoot was a piece that could inject into the city, give him confidence, and Melo can run and move and throw lobs and play fast basketball.
Brandon, what you think?
Yo, don't Charlotte still have Terry Rozier?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, both of you guys are right, though. I mean, I feel like if Brandon Miller did go to Portland, that would be a good fit. If Scoot went there, either way. But I feel like even with Portland, Scoot going there back with Dame. I mean, Dame got another running mate, another competitor. He is NBA ready. That's one thing about Scoot. He is NBA ready. So either way, to me, I think he would have been able to fit in with both. Brandon Miller, him saying Paul George is a GOAT. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, but
let's talk about it. So,
Mike Payne drafted him for that.
If you put Scoot in, then you have to put Terry on the bench. Now you have $21 million coming off the bench, right?
That's a great look for Terry. He ain't got no pressure.
For a 6'4" guard, right? You already have Kelly Oubre at 6'6" at the shooting guard, right? Coming off the bench. They don't have a 3. They would have been stupid if they didn't get a 3. Their 3 right now is Jimmy or Gordon Hayward.
So you insert Oubre into the starting lineup as a 3. Scoot as bring what's the name off the bench? Terry Rozier.
But Oubre is a free agent too, so you gotta.
But yeah, so if I'm Charlotte, why would I not take Brandon? I know Brandon fits better I know Portland would have wished he went to 3, but I have 2. Right? I got the second pick. So I got the second pick. I got a 6'9" wing, and I need a wing, right? Like Scoot fits, but it doesn't change nothing for me.
But this is what I'm saying. Now Charlotte has to depend on Brandon Miller. He's
I would have
not.
had to depend on Scoot.
I don't think after watching him play in college, and I use my metrics in the tournament. Take your team to the finals. Take them to the Final Four. Take it over the hump. Show me your leadership. So for Brandon, he's a high level scorer, good. I mean, he can do his thing. But if you got to depend on this rookie to take you all the way, I think LaMelo's gonna do what he do. But if you're gonna depend heavily on the offense of him, it's gonna be different. I think Scoot would have been a guy who's gonna help facilitate and do a lot of other things.
You know why I like Brandon? Besides him being an Adidas guy.
It's always something.
No, the reason is this. We know what was going on mentally or behind the scenes, right? And he was out there getting them fucking buckets, which means he's mentally strong. Yeah. If he's going through that and still performing, so as of right now, he's the only one that's been mentally ready. Like he's went through the worst part of what you can go through as a college player, as a hooper, and he performed, right? So coming into the NBA, there's nothing in front of him mentally, right? He can go out there and say, that shit, them little boos you got, shit, the shit I was doing with it in the NBA, I mean, in college has nothing on this, right? So like when I don't have to really second guess, like, what happens if he starts getting booed? Is he going to get homesick? He's already been proving that in that mental department.
You talked about it earlier. Brandon Miller, probably player comp close to a guy like PG. But Miller was asked before the draft who his GOAT was. And let me preface it, it's his GOAT. I don't think he said who the GOAT is, but he said his GOAT was Paul George. How y'all feeling about him saying that Paul George is his GOAT?
Well, okay. It's his GOAT because that's who he mimics his game after.
Right.
Right. And we can understand that, right? If that's who you mimic your game after, then that's who you would consider the GOAT in your mind. You know, it has nothing to do with stats or, accolades. It's just who do you see yourself playing like? And that's why I said his game is like Paul George. So I can see why he says that.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. If that's, shit. People said I play like Kenny Anderson, but he's not my GOAT. Like, people like used to compare me to Kenny Anderson a lot, all that, but it's like.
Did you mock your game after Kenny Anderson?
I tried to play like Kenny Anderson, like in high school a little bit, but once I started scoring, then I just started, I started watching guys like Kobe and you and other guys. So. But like you said though, that's his GOAT. So okay, so now we just know where you see yourself going in life.
Is that that's what I'm saying?
Asshole.
No, I'm just saying, like we just see where you're going. So okay, that's fine.
Wow, Rashad, what you got?
Kobe was my GOAT, so you know what I'm saying. I think who you pick as your GOAT is important because it's a reflection of who you are.
That's all I'm saying.
Come on, man.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
There's a difference between.
That means that he thinks everything Paul George did was gold and that he couldn't do no wrong. Paul George.
No, he's 6'9", I'm 6'9". We got the same frame. I got the same style.
Go watch Tracy McGrady.
Yes, go watch Tracy McGrady.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one because that's probably who Paul George was watching, right? That's who KD was watching, right? Like, I watched Penny. If you asked me back then who was better, Penny or Jordan, you was not going to convince me Jordan was.
No, Penny was the
Because anytime you try to have a conversation with me is when we beat the Bulls in the playoffs. That's all I was going to use. Him came back. What happened? Penny was in his ass, right? That's you couldn't get me to look no further than that. That's all I needed to say Penny was better than Jordan, right? That's just it. Right? And I didn't play like Penny, but I thought I was him until Kobe came around.
So where's that?
And then I grew the fro. It just wouldn't curl the way Kobe's curled. So when you look the first 2 years of me in the NBA, I have the Kobe type of fro because that's what he had. Mine just didn't process right. Right?
I'll say we cut the kid a little bit of slack. We got to understand nowadays these kids are young too, so they haven't seen a lot of those dudes play at their peaks. You know what I mean? Brandon Miller wasn't around when obviously T-Mac was out there getting it. He wasn't understanding hoop at that level. So Paul George is a better frame of reference for him just in terms of a career he actually got to watch and see. It's hard, we do have YouTube, we do have all these things where guys can go back, but it's like even with our generation and the older generation, we don't look at stuff the same way as them. So,
it's not a bad.
No, respect. I mean, respect. Paul George is who he is. Paul George has one of the sickest, the sickest Nike signature shoes I've seen since. No.
Shoes are important, Gil. You already know.
Paul George's signature line is crazy. Like I'm not going to front. So I get it.
Paul got skill, man. He got a great skill set, man. You know what I'm saying? I really fuck with Paul's game, but it's just like playoff P fucked me up, and it's hard to kind of come back from that because it's like you actually handed the keys over to Kawhi and said I'm not the guy. So after that, it's like Brandon.
You say you're not, LaMelo's the guy. He knows LaMelo's the GOAT.
Listen, he might be talking about the Paul George of Indiana when he's
that's the one I hope he's saying. That's the Paul George I want to see. That's the Paul George I want to see. That PG.
Yes.
That if we can get 1 year of that PG, it's on.
It's on.
It's on.
What's up, everybody? As you know, Gilbert Arenas is presented by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest and best way to play fantasy sports. You can pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy projections, and you have the opportunity to win up to 20 times your money in a single night. We're doing the 5 ways, the 4 ways, the 3 ways. You can do them 2 ways too, but the real bread is at the 5-way. Gil, who you rolling with right now?
I just picked the 5-way.
That WNBA.
WNBA. All 5. Let's rock it.
Let's get this
Yes,
bread.
sir.
Now, Underdog is available in 30 states and Canada, except Ontario. Get your minds right. Get on with the Underdog Fantasy crew. And if you want to get down, use promo code GIL and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. You put $100 in, they give you $100 right off the top. You start with $200, really get them pick'ems going. Everybody out there, make your next move your best move. Download the Underdog Fantasy app, use promo code GIL, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. You can't beat that. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Keep watching, keep supporting the movement.
I'll do it again. Use promo code GIL.
Sound like a good promo code to me.
Ages 0. Change the game. Put that respect on his name. Look, with the honor call for greatness, the chosen of few that carry the gift of genius, who do what they do, who possess finesse of blessed with desire, it's true. I'ma say it loud, none other than who?